Hello. We have with us as our guest now Morris Anderson from the First American Federal and also Chairman of the Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you.
You're a very patient man this morning. And I think that also the rain has stopped, so you had a time of just rest and relaxation.
Well, while you were taping part of the program in the aerobics and the diet, I can tell you now that you can tell by looking at me that I haven't been practicing too good at either one of those.
Well, you are a person who have lived in one of the few people, since it's gone from maybe 12,000 to 200,000 population, since you're in not too many years here in Huntsville, but you're a native. You're an actual native of Huntsville, aren't you?
You're very kind. Not too many years, but yes, I am a native of Huntsville, Madison County, and I've seen a lot of growth here.
How did you start? You're now chairman of the board of one of the largest institutions and probably best loved in the area. How did you start?
Really and truly, as an old country boy raised out on the farm, started to work with one of the local commercial banks, and I think they called me a runner, one that just went wherever somebody wanted somebody to go and work. And after a few years, I got into the real estate business, and from there to First American Federal, and I think I started with as a teller in various and sundry parts of our operation, and gradually progressed to the chairman of the board.
Yeah. Well, you really did help us a lot when we came here and moved to Cedarhurst. And, we actually had not quite sold our home in Little Rock, and we were able to buy and move in about a week's time, so you were just a wonderful help to us when we moved here.
Thank you.
You are the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce. I know there are a lot of divisions of the Chamber, and some cities in the United States, and in Huntsville in particular, it's just really the leading organization of the community. Tell us what the Chamber is here in Huntsville, what all you do.
I agree that the Chamber of Commerce in most cities is the place that you contact if you go into a city. And the Chamber of Commerce here in Huntsville, Madison County has been a very active, particularly in the last 10 or 12 years. We had at one time the Huntsville Industrial Expansion Committee, and that was the arm that primarily looked for industry for the community. And it had its own officers and board of directors and was funded by membership dues. And we had the Chamber of Commerce. And a few years ago, it was thought that there would be some economies if we combined the two together. So we combined the Chamber of Commerce and the Industrial Expansion Committee together. And now we have one organization, the Chamber of Commerce, and we call it of Madison County to include the entire area. Then a few years ago, we had, 3 years ago, we decided that we didn't have sufficient revenues to support the chamber, and a group of businessmen got together and decided, let's call on a few other industry and business people and get some donations to the Chamber of Commerce until we could get growth. So we advanced about $2.5 million was pledged over a 4-year period, and that allowed us to expand the chamber and go ahead and try to get industry and expand our local businesses. And during this period of time, with this extra money, we are trying to raise the membership in the Chamber of Commerce to a level that extra funding won't be necessary for the businesses. And now that we have a new chamber building just off of Holmes Avenue and Monroe Street, the chamber has increased 3 or 4 vice presidents of the chamber in the last 3 years. They were people that we needed an expertise in economic development, in community development, governmental affairs, human resources, and then we have vice president for membership and communications. So with all of those staff people, then you have to have someone else to get involved, and that brings in other people like myself and vice chairmen And we have a very active Chamber of Commerce and a very active Huntsville 2000 program, and we feel like that in the past that has been one of the key areas, entities here that has brought the community together in so many ways.
The only city in the whole United States that was at the Paris Fair show, and there you are with Huntsville, Alabama, and you have these Russians and Americans having fast food together right there, and people inviting you, these Huntsville Southerners inviting them. It was just wonderful.
It's strange that you would say that, because when I first met you, when you moved to Huntsville, you indicated to me then that was one of the reasons that
our company chose to come here,
to
because
Huntsville.
It's so progressive.
Yes, the Chamber has been cooperating with the city and county, the airport authority, and the state of Alabama for 3 or 4 years, and going to the various air shows. And I think the one that was held in Paris was the one that you attended. And occasionally someone will ask me, what good are you doing by
going to those,
pooling your interest in 3 or 4 people going to the Paris Air Show? I believe last year it was in Germany, and I'm not sure exactly where it's going to be this year. Can't recall, but we are going, participating with these same groups of people, the state and airport, the city and county, because we know that occasionally there'll be someone that will be there that we will cause some suspicion anyway, as we did with you, and say we better go to Huntsville and take a look.
That's true.
Once we get them here, and once they take a look, they become addicted to this area.
Well, it's such a beautiful area, and I want to get to what you mentioned a while ago, the Huntsville 2000. However, one of the closest things coming up is that you are bringing Lee Iacocca here very shortly for the ribbon cutting at the Chrysler AccuStar, right?
Correct.
How did you manage to do that?
Well, Chrysler has had facilities here for some time, but they outgrew their facilities, and some 3 or 4 years ago, Chrysler began to look at an area out next to the jetport, just off of Wall Triana Highway, and selected a tract of land to put Chrysler City. And a little bit later on, I think they changed their name to AccuStar. That's their automotive division. And they have just completed a very large facility on their ground, and they're now getting ready for the ribbon cutting. And we were so delighted that the company could get, and I say the company because I'm not sure that Leo Iacocca would respond to our request all that much, but certainly it's an honor for the community to have him to come and dedicate this building. And of course, next to the Chrysler facilities, you have your AccuStar supplier parks.
Well, you did mention the jet ports, and I know there's a lot of things going on there, the expansion and so forth. Tell me what's happening there, and also the internet.
Next to the airport, of course, is the Chrysler supplier park. And just this last week, we have cut the ribbon on one new building for JIT Services. The Molex Corporation this week broke ground, and I understand that they are building a building of about 60,000 square feet. They will be hiring approximately 300 people, and should be open very soon. And that is one of the first manufacturers that are moving into that park, and all of this is part of the jetport. And the intermodal, let me say this, we have 7 or 8 other suppliers that will be locating in the park. There'll be other announcement of that just on almost a weekly and a monthly basis now, until that park is filled. The
don't have one you want to tell me about right now?
No. Recently we announced just down south of the Chrysler, Hitachi Seiki. Their building is under construction. They bought 30 acres of land, and they are a Japanese company, and they have had facilities in other parts of the United States. This was the first Japanese company that we've gotten, and that was a joint effort between the airport and the chamber and the city, attracting the Japanese company here. We've been looking for Japanese companies since we have a Korean company that's located out at the jet port. And as you know, the Korean company, Gold Star, started out building only TVs, then they put an addition, and now then they are building microwave ovens. And I think they're about ready to build another building. I think they're about ready to expand. And this being the first Japanese company we've had, and the quality of this company is just outstanding. All of those that had talked with us concerning Japanese companies, they told us that you have got one of the very best that's coming to your community. As a result of that, we've had 4 or 5 Japanese companies that are looking at Huntsville. They've been to Huntsville in the last few weeks, looking at Huntsville for site location, for manufacturing parts, and I think they would be involved not only with Hitachi Seiki, but you know, a lot of Japanese parts are going into our cars, and so there'll be some of the Japanese companies that was going to be in the supplier part. So in and around the jet port, there's an awful lot of activity that's going in there.
You know, one of the most exciting things is what you just said. You went to Paris, France. You're in Germany the year after that, and last year I think, that you took the air show to Germany. You're talking about Korean companies and Japanese companies, and we of course know that the Russians were just over here going through Redstone Arsenal and the areas out there. I think that there's one thing that you can say about the community, and it's that we welcome all people and that we are happy to have. It's becoming the central United States melting pot. We always think of Los Angeles and New York, but it seems that we are bringing companies and peoples together here, and that's kind of exciting to me. Now, tell me about the international airport.
Well, let me back up just a little bit and tell you why we think we need to improve in our jet port facility. The jet port, the authority itself, and its directors and management, for some years have done a tremendously good job. And nothing would I say that I want to take away from their accomplishments. However, they realize, and we as chamber people realize, that one of the things that we're told when we go out on industry seeking trips, as we were recently, we were in Los Angeles and San Diego and areas around those two cities, calling on corporate executives that have facilities here and others that we are trying to get to locate
Considering
here.
relocating
And
somewhere.
one of the things that they criticized us for was our air service, our facilities. We need to improve that. Well, as you know, an announcement was made for a major expansion of the jet port. I think some $46 million is planned for that. You can get off a plane then without having to deplane out into the rain. You can go right in and we'll be uptown. So those additions to the airport have attracted at least one more airline. Our airlines, we announced their decision in the last few days. They will be a company, they're from Iowa, and they've been serving the Midwestern states, and they'll be running a kind of a shuttle between Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, Chattanooga, and Knoxville. We have pretty good reason to believe from the conversation we had with them that they will start running also a flight from here to Montgomery to Mobile, so that people in the other parts of the state of Alabama can come here, do a little business, and get back home without necessarily tying up a complete day. We believe that there's effort. I know there's an effort on the part of the jet port people in the chamber to try to contact as many of the airlines we can, hoping that we will get a hub. You know, American Airlines has got several hubs in the United States, 7 or 9, I forgot which. And because of these various hubs, they have been a very popular airline for the last few years as they develop this hub network. We have 1 or 2 that we're talking to that have not got into developing a network. But we're hoping that with the addition to the jetport facilities, that we then will be able to attract one of the major airlines as a hub in this area. You know, Huntsville, we used to call it the jetport. Now then we're referring to it as the international port, because we have flights going out of there every night with cargo on it, going the products that was manufactured right here, being shipped right out of here every night. And this addition also to other countries, and this addition also will, these funds, I think, will extend the runways to where we can carry a larger capacity of fuel. With the planes loaded right now, there is a limited amount of fuel and cargo that go on it, but we can load our planes completely and they can fly into these other countries. And we feel like that we need a jet port. I heard something recently that the Atlanta airport is so crowded that it will be growing something like 4 or 5 times its size. And if you've been to Atlanta lately, you know that the Atlanta port's difficult to get in and out of as it is. And if it has that kind of growth, then we need another major location for an international airport. As we look at Alabama, Huntsville in Madison County is the fastest growing area in Alabama, 7th in Inc. magazine in the United States.
7th in the United States.
We think great things are just beginning to happen in Huntsville. And the governor, was his vision of an international airport somewhere, naturally as quick as he brought it up, we jumped right on it and decided this is for Huntsville and Madison County. We've got the land that's next to us that's been annexed in, that hasn't got buildings of any type on it yet. So we could reserve some land right there for the expansion of the airport. So there's a lot of reasons why we think we should have it in Huntsville, the fastest growing area in the state. But there's areas like Mississippi, maybe Arkansas, I'm not sure how far around this area that would be competing for an airport for international status. But it's time that there be another one developed besides Atlanta, and we are the one that needs to have it.
Well, you have, because of the arsenal and things that are happening here, it's really an excellent place to have it. So we're believing that it will be. Is there any additional thing that's an outlook for the area? I did want to mention that some people have a real challenge with people from other countries coming in and buying land. How do you handle any comments about that?
Well, we have had some people come in and look in the foreign countries, Korea and the Japanese and Australian, various people come in, and there have been some people to say that, but we realize that if we don't get these companies to locate in our area, they're going to locate in other areas because they have been doing this for some time. And if we don't have them locate in our area to help provide jobs, they'll locate somewhere else and provide the jobs in other communities. So it's one of those things that you cannot avoid. And more of them are coming into this country, building their facilities and selling their products. So it's better to have them come over here, manufacturing the cars over here with our labor and our people than it is to have them made over there and shipped over here. So we think that we don't have much choice.
Well, you have the chamber meeting coming up. The annual meeting is the November 29th. Who's your speaker? What's planned for that?
The Chamber's annual meeting is scheduled for the Von Braun Civic Center on the 29th of November. We are going to have an exciting program this time. We've changed the format somewhat. I am not going to be a long-winded speaker. I told them I was not going to speak but for very brief. But we will have a film that's going to highlight the activities that have gone on in the community this year, and it will be sort of an entertaining and informative film as well. And we have a speaker this year that we think is very outstanding, the president of South Central Bell from Atlanta, over the southeastern United States of South Central Bell operation. And he is also the current vice president or vice chairman of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and it's my understanding that Mr. John Clendenin will be the chairman of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce in 1989. So we are fortunate to have him to come and speak to the chamber. Do you have any tickets left? There are tickets available. We are getting good response from our membership and the people in the city, but I would like to have at least 2,000 people there.
All right, that'll just go right along with Huntsville 2,000. 2,000 people there. We can have that as our goal. Well, anything else you want to add?
Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to come out. I'm always interested in talking about Huntsville and its growth and this area, and we appreciate your deciding to leave Arkansas and move to Huntsville and be a part of our community.
Well, Arkansas and Alabama are reciprocal states in a lot of ways, and so we're happy to be here. It's very beautiful in this area. I had never been to Huntsville before we decided before we came to look.
So you understand what I mean when people come to look.
That's right, absolutely.
They come back.
They do. I didn't think when we were coming here that I would be interested in Huntsville, and I was totally shocked and surprised. I'd heard of it when it was a small town, and I couldn't believe that it's becoming, and I'm looking forward to the day when we can drive around the town on 595.
Well, you know we have a lot of road work going on now,
that's right.
And I think
I'm happy to see that.
With the road work that's going on and with the industry that we've got that we think will be announced after the first of the year, with the government contracts that we see in place now, the outlook for this area is fantastic.
Thank you, Morris Anderson, Chairman of the Board and CEO of First American Federal, and Chairman of the 1988 Chamber of Commerce, and all the other activities. Thank you for coming to be with us.
Thank you.
We'll be back in a moment.
Thank you for listening today. You're listening to the Victory Network, Channel 58. Call in, give your pledge as the Lord would have you give today. We not only have pledges available, but we also have sponsorships. If you work for or own a business, you may sponsor one of our programs. If you're an individual, we would love your pledge. As I sing this song, Let Me Touch You, why don't you just go to the Lord and see what He would have you do to support the Victory Network. We need your support. We want your support, and we just love you all. We want to be an outreach to the Huntsville and Madison area, and we are here to be your servant. Let me touch you. Oh, how I long to touch you. Let me hold you in my arms, and let me call you my own. Let me cover you with love, and heal the scars you've faced alone. I'm here, just call my name. I'm near, my love will never change. Just call me now, call out to me. Little children, won't Won't you come to me as a child trusts? Put your trust in me. The way is narrow for the chosen few. Only as a child can you enter through. Jesus, make me as a child, a heart that's pure and a soul that's true. Well, I confess that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, who takes away the sin of the world, and whosoever believes in him shall not die, but shall reign with him in glory, and shall be seated with him at the right hand of God. Let him touch you. Oh, how he longs to touch you. Let him hold you in his arms, and let him call you his own. Let him cover you with love, and heal the scars you've faced alone. He's here. Won't you just call his name? He's near. His love will never change. Just call him now. Call out to him. Just call him now. Call out to him. Let him touch you. Oh, how my Jesus wants to touch you. Amen. Jesus wants to touch you right now.